everyone, welcome back to my channel, Louisa's TBR show. Today's video is going to be my July TBR and my reading rush TBR. We finally come back to the time where we could do the reading rush, and I'm super excited and super pumped. I'm hoping this year is going to be much more of a success than last year's reading rush. I was super ambitious, trying to read 7 books in 1 week, one being Children of Blood and Bone, and that was just way too big for a week's reading rush because then I had other books to read and it just complete failure. But I did get to read a good amount of books, and I'm really happy with the books that I did read, and I'm hoping this year it's going to be much more of a success. The books I'll be reading for July, not including my reading rush TBR, is A Conjuring of Light by B.E. Schwab. It is the final book in the A Darker Shade of Magic series. It starts right after the A Gathering of Shadows, like immediately after, and I don't want to go too much into it because I don't want to ruin it for people that haven't read it. But so far, it's super great. I'm super excited to see where it goes. I like how it started off. I already read some, like 100 pages. I'm hoping I can finish this by tomorrow because I do read it with the audiobook, which helps me get through it faster because I read it in 2.10 speed. So I'm hoping I can get through this one really quick, and I am excited to see where it goes. I'm already liking it a lot, and I'm excited to see what happens to Delilah and Kale and Rye and all the other characters in this book. And yes, I will let you know my thoughts on it during my July wrap-up. The next book on my TBR show for July is Wicked Fox by Kat Cho. I actually tried to read this last year for the reading rush. I think the prompt was read a book with purple on the cover, and obviously this has a lot of purple on the cover, but I did not get to it. It is based on Korean mythology. It follows, I believe, a 9-tailed fox who survives by consuming the energy of men. There's going to be, I think it's a companion novel, not really a sequel, from what I've heard the author say during a BookCon panel, coming out in like August, I think, and I really want to read it, so I really want to get through this one first, and I'm hoping to finish it in a few days as well. The thing with Book of the Month books is like the font inside sometimes tends to be like bigger, so I'm hoping I could get through this one really quickly, as well as A Conjuring of Light. Then my reading rush TBR. The Reading Rush is a week-long readathon hosted by Ariel and Raylene, and they have 7 different challenges, and you can complete each challenge or you don't have to. You know, the whole point of it is just to read as much as possible in a week. I like to do the challenges because it gives me purpose. It gives me a certain books that I choose from. All of the books I've chosen are from my TBR. That is my goal right now, is to cut down on my TBR as much as possible and only buy books that I really love and desire. So everything's from my TBR. So let's get into the challenges and the books that I've chosen. First challenge is read a book with a cover that matches the color of your birthstone. I was born in March 18th, so my birthstone is aquamarine, meaning like a light blue color. I had the idea to read The Girl That the Sea Gave Back, but apparently it's a sequel, and I don't have the first one. So I got it at Book of the Month a while back, and it's a sequel and I don't want to read like a sequel and not read the first one. So I decided to choose a different book, and for that challenge, I chose The King of Back by Marie Lu. It's a recent purchase, so I'm really excited to like read it because, you know, it's not like it's gonna sit on my shelf for a really long time. It is about a girl, non-Earl Mozart, who has a wish to compose music as a career, but you know, she's a girl, and during that time she doesn't get to do that. You know, her job is to get married and have children. However, her brother Mozart does, and he has this wonderful talent, and it seems to only grow brighter, but she really wants to compose music and doesn't want that dream to go. So she meets someone that may make that possible, but everything comes with a cost. So we shall see what happens. I've heard great things about this book, and just look at the cover. Like, it shines when I pass by, just like that. Isn't that so pretty? It's such a beautiful cover. And I've never read Marie's Liu books, but I'm super excited to see her writing style and see how her stories come alive and the world she builds comes alive. And maybe after this, I'll even read more of her books. But I'm really excited about this one, and I cannot wait to see how it goes. Challenge number 2 is read a book that starts with the word the. A lot of people may have trouble with this one because not a lot of books start with the word the, but I happen to have a lot of books that start with the word the. For example, The Kingdom of Beck by Marie Liu. But that is not the book I'm reading for this challenge. I'm reading The Magic Misfits by Neil Patrick Harris. I got this book at BookCon last year. He actually signed it right there. Pride and Joy. It is, a cute, I think it's a middle grade book, and it deals with like magic and street magicians, and I'm not really sure what it's about, but I'm excited to see where it goes and how it's just so adorable. Look at the cover, it's so cute, and I think I'll really enjoy it and maybe even get the second one. But yeah, I'm excited to read this one for the readathon, and I think it's going to go super quickly because it's small, and like the inside, it's like really like pages are short and everything. So I think this will be a quick read, which is good because it means I get a challenge done and a book read. Challenge number 3 is read a book that inspired a movie you've already watched. So I don't have any books that inspired a movie I already watched. I mean, I have the Harry Potter books, but the goal is to read new books for me. So I decided to do like a TV show, The Handmaid's Tale. I've already read The Handmaid's Tale after watching the show. But I do have, I guess, kind of like the sequel, The Testaments by Margaret Atwood. It's like the sequel to The Handmaid's Tale, and I've had it on my shelf for I think a year. So I'm excited to read this and see where the story goes. It is my biggest book for this readathon, so I'm a tiny bit nervous, but I do plan to read it along with the audiobook, so I think that will help me go way faster. And I can't wait to see what's happened to the characters, if there's new characters, like what happened to the old characters. Did they die or something? Because the show continued without this book. This book was written published after the show already started and progressed a few seasons. So I'm really excited to see how everything evolves. Challenge number 4 is read the first book you touch. I decided I know there's a lot of different ways to do this, like close your eyes or whatever, but I decided to read the book I chose by touching it. Like, I looked at my TBR and I was like, this one looks good, I'm just going to touch it then. I know it's not as creative, but I really wanted to be in control of my TBR. So I decided to pick Now I Rise by Kristen White. I read the first one and I darkened a year ago. I think I got it at BookCon, and then I got these because I loved it so much. And this is the sequel to it, and it's about a girl that wants to fight, but she's a girl. That's not her job. Her brother's supposed to do that, but he doesn't want to fight either. He wants to just be in his books, and the sister wants to fight. So that is what she decides to do, and this is a sequel, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Of course, there's a love interest involved, and that always makes it exciting. The back to say, lose yourself in this lush, brutal trilogy that reads like fantasy. The first one was great. I read it super quickly. It was engaging. It was intense. There was love. There was, fighting and trying to get the crown. It was a great fantasy series, and I'm excited to see where the characters have gone after the first one. 5th challenge is read a book completely outside of your house. I live in an apartment, so I can't really sit on the steps all day and just read a book. So I'll probably put on some like YouTube sounds of the outdoors, or sit by my window and read, or even put like a show that takes place completely outdoors, like Phineas and Ferb takes place outdoors a lot. But so yeah, but outside I'm not super comfortable just yet. The book I picked is Bright We Burn by Kristen White. It is the final book of the And I Darken series. My goal this year is to actually finish this series, so I thought this readathon would be a great way to do that, and it's shorter than the sequel. So I'm excited to see how it ends and what happens to the characters. Sixth challenge is read a book in a genre that you've always wanted to read more of. So most of my TBR is YA fantasy, adult fantasy. So that was really difficult for me to choose. I decided on Margaret Atwood's The Testament because it's considered a dystopian novel, and I don't read much dystopian novels because, like, I guess I got tired of all the dystopian novels coming out at the same time. That kind of pushed me away from that genre, and I thought, okay, I'll read this one. So I am using one book for the same for two challenges, and if I can fit in a seventh book, I will. But it's totally fine to like pick a book for multiple challenges. That's okay. So I did pick this one to fit that challenge as well. The seventh challenge is read a book that takes place on a different continent than where you live. I live in North America. I feel like a lot of books take place in this continent for some reason. But I did go through my TBR and I found Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. I figured this would be good because Jack the Ripper is a serial killer from England, London. So that's definitely a different continent from where I lived. I heard some people are doing also fantasy novels in worlds that don't exist at all. So it definitely is a different continent from where you live. So that's also a good option. But I wanted to really pick some place that already existed. And so I picked this book, which is great because I really want to start this series and finish as quickly as possible because her new book comes out, I think, in October. And she's already working on her second one. And I'm super excited to read. I believe it's called The Kingdom of the Wicked. So I really want to get through this series so I can read her new series when it comes out. I've heard great things about it. I hear it's very creative and inventive and completely unique, and I cannot wait to read some of her books. So that is my full reading rush / July TBR. It seems really daunting to read 8 books in 1 month. I've never done it. I'm excited though, and I'm ready to go. And I will probably have the audiobooks playing for if not all, most of these books, which will help me get through them really quickly. And I'm really hoping this reading rush will be a success. If you haven't tried the reading rush, I highly encourage you to. It's just a great way to read a lot in a short amount of time and to get through your TBR as quickly as possible. It's not just the challenges. There's like contests and videos you can post, and there's pictures that you can post on Instagram, and it's going to be so much fun, and it just brings a community together. And even though we can't sit together and read, we can virtually do that and like participate in forums and discussions, and they'll do reading sprints that will help you read as much as possible through these books. And it's just a fun thing to do, especially during this time where we're all at home and life is so unsure and we don't know what's going to happen. And so, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it. If you liked it, please, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.